Wireless controllers on Sega systems aren't new, from the old school infrared designs of years past to the more modern variants using better technology. But choice has not been a strong suit in this area for fans, with Nintendo systems often seeing the lion's share of what comes out in the retro world. This is why I was so very interested in the announcement that 8bitdo was making both a 2.4 gig and Bluetooth solution for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive platforms. I have absolutely no interest at all for new wired controllers in 2019. I have had access to wired Sega controllers for a long time, own plenty of them, and certainly have no desire to drop a premium for them. Better yet, these new solutions from 8bitdo are priced aggressively, and at just $25 for the 2.4 gig version that comes with its own receiver, it had the potential to be exactly what I had been waiting for. I received my 8bitdo M30 2.4 gig wireless gamepad in a nice blue and white box the day it was released from Amazon. This simple packaging looks good and held the controller and receiver well enough through shipping. First inspection reveals an overall design slightly different from the classic Sega design 6-button controller. 8bitdo has added more contours and also L and R trigger buttons to the top similar to a Sega Saturn controller. The mode button has been moved to the face of the pad under the start button, which itself is located in an area similar to Sega's original design. 8bitdo had the common sense not to mess around too much with a good thing, however, and the important bits remain where they should. The 6-button face is lovingly crafted very similar to the original design, and as good as these buttons look and feel, it's the directional pad that seals the greatness of this one. The original Sega model is one of the best digital direction pads ever designed, bar none in my opinion. 8bitdo has done a phenomenal job recreating the look, feel, and functionality of that pad. Even the texture of the plastic is stunningly close. But it's the performance of all these things while playing that really matter, and I'm happy to say that this pad met all my expectations head on and matched them well. First and foremost is the distance I was able to get and keep reliable performance. In my 12-foot by 12-foot den, performance was flawless. I defeated vampire killers start to finish, 90 minutes of gameplay with no drops in connection or perceivable lag at full distance from the receiver. I then moved to my game room, where I put a good 20 feet between the controller and the receiver for a suite of testing across many games. Shoot 'em ups, platformers, sports, and even an RPG for good measure. Again, the 8bitdo M30 performed flawlessly for me, never dropping signal and introducing no lag that I could detect. Other wireless devices could impact it, so your mileage may vary, but in my test here, the M30 performed admirably. That leads us to the actual feel of the pad and the overall build quality. The footprint of the device definitely feels different from the original Sega 6-button pad, so if you were spinning visions of a perfect replica, you aren't getting it in the M30. But what it lacks in identical curves, it more than makes up for in D-pad and 6-button face performance. This controller just feels right for this era of game. The D-pad rocks between each direction with great accuracy, and each button has that great soft spring to it that you remember from all those years ago. Sega didn't make this controller, but it feels like something they could have. The controller did exactly what I commanded it to, felt good doing it, and never left me with any impression that it missed a button press or a D-pad input. The build quality was also surprisingly robust given the price of the unit. At just $25 with the receiver, I thought for sure this thing was going to be made of your typical ultra-cheap plastic. It isn't so, instead having a solid feel and great battery life. I charged it one time the day I got it, and a week later it's still going strong. It does have a sleep function after 15 minutes of inactivity. To keep that wireless functionality beyond the Sega Genesis, you'll need the Bluetooth version of this pad. But that also means you'll need a separate purchase of a Bluetooth adapter to continue using it with your Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. This increases the investment considerably, so if wireless gaming on your original Sega hardware is all you crave, stick with the 2.4 gig version for the best bang for your buck. For those curious what else it works with, I had no trouble getting other devices that played Sega Genesis games going, like the @Games garbage and other cloned systems. I even got wireless gaming up and running on the Sega Master System, a surprising bonus I hadn't previously considered. No matter which way you slice it, the M30 impressed me to no end. While it feels a bit more like a Saturn controller than the original Sega-made Genesis and Mega Drive 6-button pad, there's no denying the great feeling D-pad and buttons. It does justice to the original pad, plays great, and never let me down. The build quality holds up well, and with the Mega SG right around the corner, I'm ready to move away from 16-bit wired controllers for good. I'm Sega Lord X, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.
Wow.